Welcome back to JayhawkJukebox. Welcome back, everyone. We were on a 2-week break, but we're back, like I've said twice already.
Yeah, and don't worry, we won't be going on any large breaks anytime soon.
Nope.
This is our last episode.
Yeah, this is our last episode of the semester, not the season. This is not SNL. But so first we're going to talk about our songs of the week. So Jason, what did you pick?
Terrific way to start the final episode. Mass confusion. Well, for my final song of the week of 2022, I picked "I Understand" by Jack Stauber.
Yes.
This semester, I've been doing a lot of local stuff. In fact, I've exclusively talked about local songs on Song of the Week.
Which is okay.
So I wanted to expand a little outward, and I just figured Jack Stauber is the weirdest person on the planet.
He's a silly little guy.
One of the oddest folks to exist, and so I really wanted to. He's so cute, isn't he?
Oh, look at him, little hipster.
I would.
Anyways.
But this song, it's 5 minutes long. It really introduces small little musical melodies, and then over the course of it, it introduces them, and then in the last minute, all of them at once.
Yeah.
It just hits every single one in a cacophony of music, beauty, sound, Jack, everything.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. It's like the ending of Hamilton, basically.
Yeah.
But better.
Exactly. I listened to the song this morning while I was getting ready, and I found myself kind of like, bobbing along. No? I was actually bobbing along. I think because I wasn't really listening to the lyrics. I just really liked how it sounded. It was a lot better than the first thing that you suggested to me that I couldn't listen to it. I had to ask for another song because it was messing with my tinnitus. But
that's a little
it happens.
That's a little behind the scenes for you.
Happens.
But we had to switch to Jack Stauber because a little more basic than the song I chose. And speaking of basic,
okay, I chose Hurts by Emma and the Sniffers, which is an Australian punk band that was actually introduced to me by my two friends, Aya and Jack, and I just really like it because it's loud, it's fun,
it is definitely loud and fun, as the rest of what I've heard from Emma and the Sniffers is loud and fun. Yeah. It's like an era of punk rock that's essentially just like a kick to the head.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sometimes that's all music needs to be.
Exactly.
But we will head to our next segment. This is actually my last segment of the semester, and so I will say...
I'm not dancing because they're leaving, but yeah. Let's go!
Terrific work from me this semester. I've done a great job, and we're going to go to Kit's promo that she shot at some point during this session because she has not had the opportunity to see herself represented in one of our promos. So I'm going to make that declaration now live on air.
Okay, bye.
Hey, welcome back to JayhawkJukebox. I'm Tristan.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Kit.
And right now we're going to be talking about our Spotify Wrapped. It just came out yesterday, am I not mistaken? Yes. Yeah, those came out, and man, we all have to do some very deep reflection on ourselves and just the kind of people that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting year.
Definitely.
Anyway, what's the rundown of yours?
My number one artist, Huey Lewis in the News.
No
0.5%
no shock.
listeners. Yep.
My top, also not a shocker, Harry Styles.
Mine was actually Joe.
Not a shocker.
Actually, it's a little bit of a shocker. I'm
Who's
still Joe Curie. I'm actually still in the 0.001% of Beastie Boys listeners, which means I'm in the top 50 listeners. Yes.
Yeah, I always get excited when I see Harry Styles things and it's like top 1%, and then I remember he has millions of
Yeah,
listeners,
it's like,
and I'm
oh,
like, that's not impressive.
Yeah, not really interesting. But wait, hold on, was I in top 1% of Joe's listeners? I think
Who's
I was.
Joe?
Joe Curie.
Sorry,
No,
0.05.
I'm not-
Joe
Yes.
Curie,
Joe Mama.
Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
Joe Mama.
Shut up. Anyways, yeah, so why don't we just go through our lists, our top 5 artists and songs.
So top number 1 for me, Harry Styles. Second, Taylor Swift. Third, Alexander Desplat, I think is how you pronounce it. He makes a lot of the music for a lot of movies, like Little Women and I think like Wes Anderson movies. Anyway,
Slay.
then Annie DeRusso, who's my favorite artist, probably.
Annie.
And then Coin. So that's mine.
We do like Coin.
Yes.
My top artists were Joe, Beastie Boys, Wallows, A Tribe Called Quest, and The Regrets, which are like my top 5 artists of all time. So it makes sense. That's all I really listen to.
My top 5 artists. Oh boy. Huey Lewis in the news, as I have previously mentioned. Kendrick Lamar. Kanye West, that's controversial. Elvis Presley, and then Olivia Rodrigo.
Nice.
Slay.
All over the place.
Nice.
I have to ask you guys though, because Kanye West is number 3 for me. But in my defense, this was before he came out as an
Also, yeah, I will, not to excuse anything, but he didn't start getting real bad until after they stopped counting, like, for the year.
Yeah, they
Because they stopped in, like, October.
Yeah.
They stopped in October?
Yeah, like the last day of October is when the stats stop, which is kind of annoying to me because there's so much other stuff I listen to.
Literally, yeah.
And then this was yet another year, I think 2020, my top artist was Harry Styles, and 4 out of the 5 songs were Harry Styles, and this is yet another year where all of them are from his new album. The only one that was not was Coming Soon by Annie DeRusso. But that's also not a shock to me because I hate to say it again, but I studied abroad this summer, and that album came out right like the day I got there. So it was just a very big part of my summer, very nostalgic to me in that way. I just love it very much. So I'm glad that they could make it to the top of the list.
Yeah, so my top song was Change by Joe, which is surprising because that's not my favorite Joe song. But I definitely did listen to it a lot when I first heard it. And then number 2 was Jackie and Wilson by Hozier.
Yes.
I love that. I mean, that song is
love him.
so good. And then 3 was Hurts Me by Wallows. That's probably my favorite song off the new album. And then number 4 was Personal Lies by Joe, which is like the intro to his first album, and it's so good. And then the last song is Hot Sex by Tribe Called Quest, which I promise is not any reflection of me as a person, I promise. It's just a really good song. Tristan?
Top 5 songs. I'm ashamed. Life is a Highway, from the movie Cars, by the Rascal Flatts. If I Can Dream, classic Elvis song, from the 68 Comeback Special. Number 3, Power of Love, my boy Huey, from Back to the Future. Dancing Queen by ABBA, you gotta throw in ABBA. And then number 5, Betty, the Young Gravy classic.
Yep, that's a great one. But yeah, so that's all of our Spotify Wraps for this year. Maybe next year we'll make another one. You guys unfortunately won't be here, but we'll still.
After the break, I will be giving the live music forecast this week. Stay tuned.
Woohoo.
Knocks it down from distance. MP's got 12, and a big question mark for MP.
Hey everybody, I'm Tristan, and I'm here with a 7-day live music forecast. Let's just hop right into it. So first off, we got American Aquarium at the Granada right here. $25 entry fee. They're kind of like southern, like folksy country. That's the best I can describe them. I just listened to them earlier today. Personally, not my taste of music, but I mean, I know the country scene's pretty big here at KU, so I mean, I'd say it's worth a listen. Anyways, yeah, $25 at the Granada tonight. Yeah. Friday, a little bit more my speed. Taylor Fest. I won't be able to go to it, unfortunately. But again, it's at the Granada. I'm guessing it's gonna be like a throwback of just like all of Taylor's hits. That's Taylor Swift, by the way, not Taylor Holchek, my lovely co-host. $20. That's tomorrow night. On Saturday at the Bottleneck, we got, I don't know how to pronounce this low key. It's Idola. I gave them a listen earlier today. They describe themselves as progressive rock, progressive metal, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting sound. Don't know if it's for me personally again, but you know, just because it's not for me doesn't mean it can't be for you. $20 at the Bottleneck. Yeah, go check it out. Sunday. KU Vespers concert at the Lead Center. Now I'm throwing this on here because my scene partner for my acting class for my final scene for the semester is actually in the choir for this concert. So shout out to Quentin. Hope he's gonna kill it in the choir. Lead Center, it's free, but you do need a ticket. They will have tickets at the front box office, but you do need a ticket to get in. But those tickets are free $99. Monday, we got The Voice. Now, it's on NBC. It's not actually like live music per se, but I did want to throw this on here because a Junction City native, Justin Aaron, he's on The Voice. They're about to wrap up. They're down to like the final 10 contestants. He's killing it so far, and we gotta promote. We gotta send love to our Kansas resident, to our fellow Kansans. So vote for Aaron on The Voice Monday night. Tuesday isn't really music forecast without shouting out the Caw Valley Public House. They got Electric Blues Open Jam. It's free. You can bring your own instrument. You can jam out. It'll be an interesting time. And then on Wednesday we got Let Down in Kansas City at Encore at the Uptown Theater. $12. Again, it's kind of more rock. It's a little bit different from the other two acts I mentioned earlier. Still, sure, it's going to be an interesting time. Anyways, that concludes our 7-day live music forecast. We'll be back with the next segment.
Welcome back, everyone. Hello. I think that was cut off on accident, but now we're going to talk about cover versus an original. Today's song that we picked was Say It Ain't So by Weezer, and the cover by now defunct band Calpurnia.
Yes.
So.
Defunct, you say?
Yeah.
Would you like to elaborate more?
Yeah, so basically this is a project that I think started in 2017. It's Finn Wolfhard, Malcolm, I forgot his last name, I'm so sorry, Ayla Tesler-Mabe, and Jack Alexander, and they just kind of made like 1 or 2 projects and then just kind of broke up. Yeah. So, and they kind of started their own thing because they're like our age, so it was like a high school band kind of thing. I mean, it's Finn Wolfhard, so it's not like anything, too minor, but it was kind of a big deal. But yeah, so they did a cover of Say It Ain't So, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, for me personally, never heard the original, I don't think, and I'm very surprised. Which I know is like shocking. It sounded vaguely familiar. Maybe I've heard it a few times, but I'm
Probably
not
on,
like
TikTok.
But I'm not on TikTok.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
But it also is maybe one of those things. There's so many Weezer songs where you say the title and I'm like, what is that? And then I listen to it and I'm like, oh, that song.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it was a little bit, but also I wasn't that. But personally, just to get right into it, I liked the cover more.
Agree.
I don't know about you.
Hard agree.
I mean, I can understand where you would like the cover more. I mean, I personally thought there were certain aspects of the cover that I thought were more interesting than the original. Specifically, some of those guitar riffs, and especially that like climax at the end, I thought was a little bit more effective.
Watch what you say about girl boss Ayla. She's.
I don't know who Ayla is.
That's who is playing the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
My son.
I thought she did a good job.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only problem that I have with the song, and I think that's what makes it not as good as the original, was pacing. It was just all over at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was
It
I
is
think
live.
the beginning song.
Yeah.
Oh, it was live.
Yeah, it's live.
I mean, I guess I
live,
kind of explain some of it, but I mean, just because it's an explanation doesn't mean that it excuses the song from having bad pacing. But yeah, just the pacing. It needs to be. I just felt like the slower pacing and Weezer's version of that song just fit the song a lot better than the slightly more sped up version of the.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things I liked more about it. So I disagree. But I think just in general with these Spotify single covers, they all tend to be better than the original.
I would have to agree.
And this was just yet another case of it for me. So I don't know about you.
So as someone who is an avid Calpurnia / Finn Wolfhard Project listener, his vocals are really inconsistent of whether or not they're good or bad.
That's true.
But this, I think, is probably some of his best vocal work that he's ever done. And so I find it really satisfying to listen to because, like I said, it's very rare for him to actually sound good. And he did. And so I just really like listening to it because, I don't know, I think, because, teenage boy, their voice cracks and it's kind of awkward. But, he actually does it in all the right places.
I kind of forgot about that fact about him and his voice because I used to listen to their music, fairly regularly when it was happening. And then I actually, forgot about them and I was like, what did they ever do anything more? And they just simply did not.
Yeah, they didn't.
So, but this was a nice way to revisit that. I feel like it was kind of nostalgic a little bit because it reminded me of
when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard of this band until today. But respectfully, I will give Finn Wolfhard credit. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad vocal work in my opinion. Was it better than? I believe it was Rivers Cuomo singing it.
Yes.
I could be mistaken.
You're correct.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. I thought Rivers did the better job still, but I mean, I will tip my hat to Finn. Good work, bud.
Yes. So that was our, review, cover versus original of Say It Ain't So by Weezer. But now we are going to move over to.
I will move over back to the green screen for this
week in history. There you go.
Welcome back to This Week in History, where we'll be recounting events in the music history from the past 2 weeks. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Alexandria.
American singer-songwriter Tina Turner was born on November 26, 1939. With Ike and Tina Turner, she had the 1966 single River Deep Mountain High, 1971's Proud Mary, and the solo hit single What's Love Got to Do with It in 1984. Turner is one of the world's best-selling artists of all time and has been referred to as the Queen of Rock and Roll. She has 11 Grammy Awards.
Chris Hayes, guitarist from Huey Lewis and the News, was born November 24, 1957. The band had the 1985 single The Power of Love. Their third album, 1983's Sports, was their best-selling, and they also contributed to the soundtrack of the 1985 film Back to the Future.
Mike D was born November 20th, 1965. The rapper and music producer is best known as a founding member of the Beastie Boys. The group was formed out of an experimental hardcore punk band, the Young Aboriginals, in 1978, and has sold over 20 million records.
Icelandic singer and producer Björk was born November 21, 1965. As a member of the Sugar Cubes, she had the 1987 single Birthday, which was a hit across indie stations. Björk started her solo career in 1993, and several of Björk's albums have reached the top 20 on the Billboard charts.
In 1970, 2 months after his death, Jimi Hendrix was at number 1 with Voodoo Child, Slight Return, the closing track on Electric Ladyland. This was the third and final album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This was the guitarist's only UK number 1 single.
Britney Spears was born on December 2, 1981. She was just 16 when she recorded her 1999 number 1 single, Baby One More Time, and had an album of the same name. The single spent 82 weeks on the chart, making her the biggest-selling teenage act in the world with album sales over 40 million. She went on to release 8 more albums with 48 singles.
In 1982, Michael Jackson's album Thriller was released and spent 190 weeks on the album charts, becoming the biggest-selling pop album of all time, with sales over 66 million copies. 7 singles were released from the album, including Beat It, which featured Eddie Van Halen, and Toto's Steve Lukather on guitar.
Rapper and record producer Future was born on November 20th, 1983. His discography consists of 9 studio albums, 1 compilation album, 1 collaborative album, 24 mixtapes, 2 extended plays, and 117 singles, including 61 as a featured artist.
Carly Rae Jepsen was born November 21st, 1985. Her 2012 single, Call Me Maybe, reached number 1 in 18 countries and was that year's best-selling single globally. Her most recent album, The Loneliest Time, released on October 21st, 2022.
On November 24th, 1991, Freddie Mercury died at the age of 45 following complications from HIV/AIDS. His death came just 1 day after he announced his diagnosis to the press. Mercury co-founded Queen in 1970 and remained the band's frontman throughout his life. He wrote many of the band's best-loved hits, including the Bohemian Rhapsody, Somebody to Love, and We Are the Champions.
Singer and songwriter Charlie Puth was born on December 2nd, 1991. He first became well known for writing and singing on Wiz Khalifa's number 1 single, See You Again, from the Furious 7 soundtrack.
Miley Cyrus was born on November 23, 1992. The actress and singer-songwriter began her career as Miley Stewart and Hannah Montana on the Disney Channel series Hannah Montana in the 2000s. Her latest album, Plastic Hearts, released in 2020 and was a departure from her previous sounds with more glam rock disco and a new wave influences.
In 1992, Whitney Houston started a record-breaking 14-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with I Will Always Love You. The song was originally written and recorded by Dolly Parton as a country ballad.
In 2001, Beatles guitarist George Harrison died due to lung cancer at the age of 58. Following the breakup of the Beatles, Harrison had a successful solo career and as a part of the Traveling Wilburys. He joined the Beatles when he was just 16, and he wrote songs such as Here Comes the Sun, Something, and While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
In 2012, Led Zeppelin received a Kennedy Center Honors Award from President Barack Obama for their significant contribution to American culture and the arts. The president thanked the band members for behaving themselves at the White House, given their history of, quote, hotel rooms being trashed and mayhem all around.
In 2015, Justin Bieber topped the singles charts with Sorry. 8 songs from Bieber's new album, Purpose, were charting at the time, breaking a record for the first time a living artist had so many simultaneous entries. It broke the record set by Elvis Presley of 7 songs.
In 2016, punk memorabilia said to be worth $6 million was set on fire in the middle of the River Thames in London. Joe Corey, the son of Sex Pistols manager Malcolm McLaren and fashion designer Dame Vivienne Westwood, burnt the items on the 40th anniversary of the Sex Pistols' debut single. He told the crowd that, quote, punk was never meant to be nostalgic.
Yesterday, November 30th, Christine McVie died at the age of 79. She was born on July 12, 1943, and was most known as a member of Fleetwood Mac, which she joined in 1970 as a singer and keyboardist. She also released 3 solo albums. Her lyrics focused on love and relationships. She was described as a, quote, unabashedly easy on the ears singer-songwriter and the prime mover behind some of the Fleetwood Mac's biggest hits. Songs written or co-written by her include Don't Stop, Everywhere, and Little Lies.
That's all for Jayhawk Jukebox this semester. Tune in again after break at 4:30 and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at JayhawkJukebox and on Twitter at Jayhawk_Jukebox.
Have a great New Year, Jayhawks.